Well, let me ask you something just for clarification. You know, you said that you've worked with the public sector side to help them draft legislation. Sometimes they take it, sometimes they don't, or sometimes they like your idea, sometimes they don't. But in any case, some of the ideas that you help formulate are introduced eventually in state houses across the country.
That's how.
Do you register as a lobbyist?
Oh, yeah, if I go
in every single state?
No,
that
I go only where I follow whatever the state laws are. Whatever the state laws require.
But if Representative Joe Schmo from Nevada meets with you here in New Orleans, gets a great idea from you, you've helped him write this law, he goes to his state, introduces it, you've never been to Nevada, let's say, and he introduces that law, the citizens of Nevada don't know that Victor Schwartz helped write that law.
Well, people don't know who. I work with Congress every day. No one knows who writes all the laws in Congress.
Well, isn't that problematic? For
well,
the critics of
we follow.
that kind of gives them.
But model bills. The trial lawyers have their model bills.
We keep saying the trial lawyers, but we're talking about you.
Well, if you want to have a new law that requires registration in that context, go for it. I follow the law. I have to.
But you still understand the criticism that ALEC is just a proxy to get around all the disclosure and the transparency that many states
because
require.
People, every Dick, Mo, and Joe knows, just the way you found me, I co-chair the Civil Justice Task Force.
Not every Dick and Joe understands ALEC. I mean, you know that. I mean, do you think all these folks on the sidewalk kind of know ALEC?
Well, they're not on the sidewalk. In the state legislature, ALEC is an organ. You have ALEC, you have the big one of
NCSL?
And CSL, yeah, I've spoken to them. So how often in Congress of the United States, I've worked there for 30 years, has a bill been introduced by a member that it was solely the idea of the member himself, and there's no registration whatsoever. The rules are if you, now, there is, if you directly talk with staff, and you're in Washington,
more than 20% of the time you have to register.
You go to staff, you register. And I think if you all think the rules should be changed, then go and change them. I don't see any hidden thing, because usually if the man or woman introduces the bill, he's going to have somebody to help him. And the person who helps him, and I can give you, well, I try to have the people who I work with, I have some name recognition, and none of us are here forever. So I want Phil Goldberg, Carrie Silverman, the people who work with me to do things. So there was a bill that we were asked to work on in Wisconsin. Well, Carrie Silverman went out there, and he folled the registration. These fellows and men who are pretty
Which bill was that, by the way?
It had to do with, it had a number of tort reforms in it, and I think we worked on the part that dealt with the admissibility of evidence. We didn't work on the whole thing. But what happens in reality, as far as I know, is that if somebody has an ALEC bill, I can't think of an incident over 20 years where somebody has an ALEC bill and there isn't somebody who is there in the state when the hearing is held from ALEC who knows something about the bill. State legislators, sir, don't have staff. It's not like Congress. They're their own staff. They may share a secretary. So as a practical matter, I'm just giving you what I know. You're not interviewing yourself, you're interviewing me, which is nice. That somebody will be there who has ALEC identification. So when the rubber hits the road, so to speak, there is that identification.
But ALEC is a very convenient, I mean, I don't want to argue too much with you on this point, but ALEC is a convenient identity. That person can say, I'm a Jeffersonian, individual liberty, conservative. I'm not here representing Philip Morris or whatever. It's a front, and that's the accusation, and you haven't really deflected that.
Well, all the people who sponsor ALEC, all the webs and everything say, well, these are the people who sponsor ALEC, and if, in my experience, when I've testified, I don't do it too much. If somebody is there, they will say, well, Victor's representing ALEC, and everybody knows who ALEC is, and they're General Motors, and they list them.